Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. A talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me through benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcasts. People of Distinction is internationally syndicated solely due to the love and support that you all continue to give. We're available across all major distributors, and as long as you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. Now sit back and strap in, because on the line with us today, we have the impressive David F. Woody. And we're going to be discussing his amazing novel, The Devil and the Details. COVID, What Really Happened. Now, it's available for purchase through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and a whole host of other places. Simply type it into a search bar. You're going to be greeted with all of them. But while you're at it, man, check out his personal site. That's davidwoodybooks.com. There, you're going to gather more information on him, more information on the book, hyperlinks set up to take you to the purchasing pages. While you're at it, you're also going to find another novel that David has written, and that one is called Shadows of Lucifer, A Global Conspiracy. I'm telling you, it's a one-stop shop for it all. That's davidwoodybooks.com. And I quickly want to take this opportunity and point out the fact that David was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by one of the best publishing firms in the business, people you already know, talking about Studio of Books. So for my writers out there who have gone through their process, listen, you need to head on over to studioofbooks.com. They're going to help move your book. They're going to help move your creative endeavors, and it truly is a one-stop shop. Again, that's studioofbooks.com today. And listen, it is a true pleasure to have David here on the line. People, imagine a world where the chaos of COVID-19 collides with the apocalyptic fury of the Four Horsemen, and one unlikely hero stands at the crossroads of salvation and destruction. This novel has so much to offer. It is going to be gripping. It is going to be entertaining, but it also is going to offer some insight. It's also going to have you as the reader maybe analyzing things from different perspectives, maybe asking yourself certain questions and having some pretty fruitful conversations, man. David is onto something special, and I promise you, once you pick up your copies, you're not going to be able to put it down. Sit back and, most importantly, strap in. David, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine, and thank you.
Well, David, listen, I want to thank you for being here with us to discuss it. Your book offers so much, and we have a lot to discuss here today. So I'm going to hold off a bit before diving into the deep end. First and foremost, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background, sir.
Well, I live in Huntington Beach, California. That's a surf city, and I'm pretty involved in various charitables, the Rotarian, and I'm also a member of the Police Officers Association of Long Beach. And I would believe in giving back to the community a little bit, that I've been successful. So that's wonderful, and so that's my thrilling story.
Well, listen, man, thank you for all that you do. David, let's go into your novel, man. First and foremost, let's start with a brief synopsis. The Devil and the Details. Tell us more about it.
Well, I was picked by the Devil's team to become one of their agents, and it was kind of like a troubleshooter for them. And of course, I asked them, I said, why did you pick me? And they said, well, you were the right age, you were single, you weren't religious, and they could see no problems I might have. So then that's when I had no choice. And, well, not me. The hero had no choice but to follow along, and they sent him throughout the world and different adventures. And there's even a little bit of romance in the book, and so it was a lot of fun to write. And particularly, I was able to capitalize on what's happening in the world as far as the geometric things. You've got the different countries, lots of wars going on, and a lot of supposition on who's going to make the first move and why, and so on. So that was kind of part of it too.
Well, let's go into inspiration next. And really, I want to cover the full gamut of inspiration here. First and foremost, what inspired you to be a writer? And then also, what inspired this particular novel?
Well, I have a lot of fun writing kind of humorous things. I belong to a fishing club in Long Beach, and we have a lot of fun writing our BS stories, we call them. So it's about a paragraph of some fishing trip. That's, of course, all fantasy. And so I'm always winning the BS award. And so anyway, how I got into doing the book, frankly, I don't know. I just the thought just came to me. It'd be kind of fun to sit down and write something. And why that particular subject came up, I frankly can't even tell you. It just happened. So it's kind of weird.
Well, listen, sticking with inspiration here, but switching gears, David, your title, man, it is remarkably compelling. And the title in its totality, all right, The Devil and the Details, you could have stopped there and you would have had a lot of people hooked. But the subtitle, COVID, what really happened? Now, I'm curious to know, in connecting this to the storyline, A, why did you choose that title to be the representation for your book? And what connection does it have with the journey itself?
Well, of course, our hero was accosted by the Four Horsemen, and they explained to him about that they're the ones that were spreading the virus around the world, and they actually had started out in China at the factory there, and then the various horses, of course, have different titles, different things that they do, and there's war, death, pestilence, which was, of course, the spreading of this COVID was the horseman pestilence, and of course we can see all of the different horses had a purpose. They've created wars and etc. So that's kind of what started it out. And Baker, of course, our hero, was not ready. He didn't want to go along, but he had no choice because these horsemen, of course, were pretty well armed, and they took him to where he would meet the people that would be controlling him in Hades. So if that makes any sense.
Well, listen, it makes a lot of sense, and it definitely makes things all the more intriguing. People, I'm telling you, the book is called The Devil and the Details, COVID, What Really Happened. You got to pick up copies. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, it's a lot of other places, but make sure to check out a personal site, davidwoodybooks.com. There, you're going to gather more information, but you're also going to find his other novel, Shadows of Lucifer, A Global Conspiracy, and both of these are riveting, and you're not going to want to put them down, all right? Again, that's davidwoodybooks.com. Head on over there today and see why. David, my follow-up now, I'm curious to know, because listen, you have a lot happening here with the Four Horsemen and the biblical, sense of that and the representation there. But also, as you stated, and as you and I briefly spoke about on the pre-screening call prior to this interview, there are connections between this fictional novel and real life circumstances that we see happening around us today. Well, talk to us now. How did you utilize the horsemen's mission, the Four Horsemen? Because, of course, we know when we see them represented in the Bible and in your book as well, they represent pestilence, war, famine, and death. Well, how did you utilize them and their mission to comment on modern societal issues?
Well, they of course, were charged with their various specialties, and war, of course, is pretty easy to see between the number of wars going on now, as we know, and that, of course, there was even some thought that they might have had something to do with the Russians attacking Ukraine, and so there was a bit there that's possible. So just various. They also would want to go to different areas like Saudi Arabia and try to stir up some action between them and welcoming in the U.S. to make their enemies, the Iranians, cause them problems. And they also, of course, there were some thinking that they were going to be moving out to entice the Chinese to attack Taiwan. And so other various places around the world, the hot spots around the world, of course, this was where they shined. So,
David, what would you say was the most challenging part of writing this story?
Well, to be honest with you, Benji, there was really no challenge. I just, like I said, sitting here at my desk working away, and I said, well, let's just work on it a little bit, and thoughts would come up, and it's really kind of hard to explain. I really don't know. It just happened. Kind of crazy, huh?
It's interesting, David, because what you're saying sounds very similar to what I hear often when I speak to authors. I've heard a number of times, and I can recognize this from an artist's perspective. Now, by no means am I a writer. I wasn't gifted with that artistry, but in my background in acting and filmmaking, it's definitely something that is relatable, and I'm sure across all mediums and all art forms, there's a similar thing that we can relate to in terms of when that passion hits you, man, you are just like a freight train just speeding downhill. You have the momentum and things just kind of start to spill out of you, right? You become a passenger along for the ride. And it sounds like that's
Benji,
what
you
happened.
hit it right on the head. That's exactly kind of what happened to me. It was just like some thoughts would come, and I couldn't wait to get to, start writing it down.
Absolutely. As we start to transition here, because I do want to give you an opportunity to go into your next novel, for your readers, after they've concluded your book, what's one question that you hope that they ask themselves?
Well, they'll want to know, no doubt, the continuation of what else was happening, because there's a lot of things in the first book. It was just like a question marks. How about this? How about that? Mm-hmm. And so they delved into that a little bit more. And travel the world a little bit more. Different, like I say, there was the devil's lieutenant, a being called Gerbix. He was actually my supervisor, if you will, and so he was the one that would assign different jobs for me to do, and so I was, involved in different things like that. So. Mm-hmm.
Well, people, listen, as I mentioned to you before, this is not the only novel David has written, okay? There's another one called Shadows of Lucifer. I want to switch there right now and briefly talk about that. Of course, The Anchor was all about the devil and the details, but as we close out of here, David, tell us about your next novel, Shadows of Lucifer, A Global Conspiracy, so we have an idea of what to expect when we pick it up.
Sure. Basically, what he did was that he was given more, like I say, more assignments to do, and some of them were pretty exciting. And then he went on a couple of rescue missions with some of the other. The way that Lucifer had things set up was there was different groups of people. There would be different, like a little edifice or something they would live in, and they communicated by going back and forth on this very fast elevator, and that's how our hero was able to get down to Hades and back. And he met other people, some Jewish officers that had some information. He met one of the majors and got some information to this would help provide more support for Israel, as an example. Mm-hmm. And and it just kind of continues on from there, from one adventure to another. And of course, he was pretty well. And at the end of the book, I don't necessarily give it away, but him and his romance interest ended up in Australia, and there was some adventures that went on there too, and that's kind of where the book ends, is in Australia with Baker and his romantic interest there. So.
As we close out of here, David, is there anything else you'd like to let our listening audience know before we let you go?
I just would say I hope you enjoy the book and give me some impetus in going. I've kind of left it open, so there might even be a sequence coming from that, but we don't know yet. There again, as you said, I'm not inspired yet.
Well, listen, people, I'm going to tell you what you all need to do, okay? By the overwhelming show of support, when we head on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, davidwoodybooks.com, you purchase your copies, that's going to be the message to him, to give him that inspiration and tell him, David, we need more. All right, man, you've gotten 2. We need at least another 2 more. Hopefully more down the road, because I'm telling you, these are fantastic books, entertaining to no end. They're going to create some wonderful conversation starters, but also destined for the big screen, because I could easily see it developing into that. You know where to go. It starts with these books, The Devil and the Details, and then Shadows of Lucifer. Head on over there, pick up your copies.
Can we get
today.
Brad Pitt to play the hero?
Well, I mean, if we're not going to have Brad do it, it's not even worth it. I mean, come on. Brad needs to get on board with this, people. You know, people, like I said, it starts with these books, man. Head on over there and get lost in it. David, this has been a true pleasure, an absolute delight. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Well, thank you so much, too, Benji. Hope our paths cross again.